Hello, this is Rafa. Welcome to another page in my homesteading diary.
Hi, welcome back. I'm at my salad bowl and I want to talk a little bit about bolting. So a video or two ago I mentioned that just in passing, I've mentioned that I thought my lettuces were starting to bolt. I wasn't really sure because I haven't grown lettuce before, but turns out I was right. So how do I know that they're bolting? Well, they're growing up long and cylinder like this, and the insides are starting to be real tight. So when you see that happening, that means that the lettuce is getting ready to try to force its flower head up from the center, and that will eventually go to seed. I can go on and harvest these now, and they're gonna be very bitter. So when I harvest them, to try to draw some of that bitterness out, if I want to try to eat them, I would need to soak them overnight in some water with a little bit of vinegar in it. Excuse me. With a little bit of vinegar in it, and that will draw out those bitter tannins. So what's happening is as it's trying to produce its flour, it is drawing up minerals from the soil, and the minerals that they draw up is what's making them bolt. Is what's making them bitter. So what causes them to bolt? Well, they think they're at the end of their season, and a lot of times if they are in weather that is too warm, that will cause them to start the bolting process. Another thing that could start the process is if they're exposed to too much sunlight. In this case, I think it is heat, because we had a few nights of early frost, and I covered them with tarp and left the tarp on for a few days. I opened the tarp for a few minutes or a few hours every day to let some ventilation circulate through there. But for the most part, they were covered over with the tarp because the frost was lasting more than a couple of days. As a result, a lot of heat was building up in that. It was like a perfect little greenhouse situation, and I think that's what caused them to start bolting. Now, I believe a lot of the lettuces, when they're red, tinged with red like that, that's a sign that they're cold hardy. And so I probably didn't even need, if they were not in this salad bowl mixed with other leafy greens, they probably would have done fine not even being covered. I'm not sure. If you know for a fact, then leave a message in the comment section. But from what I understand, if they're cold hardy lettuces, they would have done fine without me covering them. So I have a decision to make. I need to decide, do I want to go on and harvest these, or let them go on and bolt and produce seeds, flowers and seeds, and harvest the seeds. I think I will probably harvest maybe 2 of them, and then I might try to leave 1 or 2 to let go to seed, just so that I could see how that process goes, since this is my first time doing it. So you can see here how it has this tight little head growing, and you can notice also that the spacing in here, instead of it being tight like what you would normally see, you'll see a lot of distance between the leaves, and that should not be so. But let's take a quick look. That's a butter crunch lettuce. It's doing fine. That's a curly leaf kale. That's a curly leaf kale that's trying to come back. I had to cut it back because the leaves were doing something crazy. I don't know. Anyways, I had to cut them back, and they're just now springing forth again. Now this romaine right here, this has not started bolting. So when I harvest these Butter Crunch lettuce greens, I'll be harvesting this too, just to make sure that I don't miss that window of opportunity. Here's a curly leaf kale that's doing really nice, and another Butter Crunch. Here's another bolting romaine. Another thing about the bolting is that the leaves will become a little thicker feeling. And the reason I let these go so long, I did harvest some for a salad a few videos back, but the reason I let them go so long is because I wasn't sure what variety of romaine this was. So I didn't know how tall or how long the leaves were gonna get, so I kept waiting for them to get a little longer. Also, I thought the leaves felt more tender than what I was used to getting from the grocery store. So I was thinking, well, maybe they're not mature enough. I need to leave them and let them grow some more so that they could get a little thicker. So as a result, this is what I have. What I do like though is that it seems that my Butter Crunches are doing lovely. They don't seem like they're bolting just yet, but I'm growing these to consume, right? So I need to go on and harvest them so that they can not bolt. I would like to enjoy them when they taste the way they're supposed to taste. Which, when I said I'm growing them to consume, brings me to another point. Part of the reason why these are all still here and I haven't harvested them yet is because I just like looking at them. It's like such a satisfaction of knowing that I planted them in, I watched them grow, they look beautiful and lush, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready to just cut it all down and not have anything else to look at for a minute. But all good things come to an end, and I will be consuming these as they're meant to be. So I decided to go on and harvest the red romaine and a little bit of the Butter Crunch for a salad. Since this is already bolted, I'm gonna go on and cut this off. I think I will leave one, like I said before, I'll leave one to go to seed so that I could see that whole process. I don't know if we could see right here, but there's a milky substance that's coming out of it, and that's another sign that it's bolting. That milky substance is extremely bitter, and that goes and feeds into the leaves, and that's what causes the leaves to taste bitter as well. Decided to throw a little of the kale in there too while I was at it. When you harvest your lettuce, make sure that you take the leaves from the outside. You don't want to take any from the inside because that's where the energy gets pushed up to promote new leaves if it's a cut and come back again lettuce. Romaine lettuces, you can peel them from the outside, but they're not going to come back again. So you either gonna take them as individual leaves or you're gonna cut the whole head at one time. These leaves that look damaged and not quite as appealing, I'm going to go and add them to my compost.
As you can see, I left a little bit. I'm glad I went on and harvested some though, so that if I have any more mishaps, at least I could say that I enjoyed them. But I did have some a few weeks ago, so that's good.
You may have also noticed that I moved the salad bowl from by this tree over here, and that was because I was thinking it had too much shade, even though the leaves are falling off now anyways. But turns out they do need to be in the shade. So when I grow them in the spring, I will be placing them in a shady type area, or at least putting a shade netting. But we have many videos between now and then, and you'll see whatever my solution ends up being. I think I'm going to transplant these into another location, and I don't know. Right now I'm in the process of reconfiguring the garden space, and we'll see what happens, where everything ends up. I'll take you along for the ride.
This channel promotes the goodness in life. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And above all, prosper and be in good health.